These are the settings that I use, and yes, we're going to test all the Apple Silicon chips, the M1, M2, M3, M4. Let's get into it. This is the performance of the MacBook Air M1. It's cold, so it's running at near maximum performance and we're getting about 60 FPS. We are all using the same settings again. Of course, we are not able to go to the same planets, but this is the M2 and it runs significantly better than the M1. Again, we've visited multiple planets and some planets are better than the other, but it's roughly the same. I'd say the M1 planet is harder than the M2. But still, the M2 beats it, so it's a nice upgrade. Here we have the M3. This planet is more similar to the planet of the M1, but it's running a little bit better at the beginning and sometimes than the M2, but sometimes a little bit worse. It's an odd chip, I don't know what to make of it. Sometimes it's better, sometimes not. And it uses a lot more energy, it seems, at least GPU wise. And so we also have the M4, which is in my Mac Mini, which is air cooled, so it's always peak performance, but these others were also peak performance because they were still cold. But it is a lot better. It uses a lot more energy, but it also gives a lot more FPS, so that's really good. It's really a good generation, the M4 in my opinion. So there it is against the M3, and for funsies here it is against the M1 where it all started, right? So we're almost double the FPS, which is crazy in just 4 generations, right? You're getting double the performance, but as we all know, these laptops get hot over time, except for the Mac Mini, and if you have a MacBook Pro you're fine, but if you want a MacBook Air, is it worth to get the M4 MacBook Air or the M3 or the M2 if you have the M1? So that is what I'm going to show you here. This is the M1 MacBook Air, but it's after 5 minutes of play, so the performance has dropped because it's just too hot, right? And here's the M2 Air after 5 minutes of play. Now it's better than the M1, it also uses a little bit more energy, but the MacBook can dissipate the heat, and here is the differences between them. You can see, sure, if you have an M1 and you want an M2, it may be worth it, at least you're getting a little bit better performance, right? But for the M3 it's not really the same story. I don't know what it is with this generation chip, but it's not really that good in my opinion. It's sometimes worse, and in this case it's actually worse than the M2, as you can see. Now, of course you could argue the planet is harder, but I don't think so, not really. It's not that beautiful or something. The M1 is the hardest in my opinion. And here it is against the M1. It's actually getting similar performance to the M1, which is honestly quite embarrassing. But here we have, of course, the M4, and this is what you get if you have a Mac Mini or a MacBook Pro. It just keeps going at maximum performance. And so last I'm gonna compare to the MacBook Air M1 after 5 minutes, like significantly more performance. But yeah, and that really is it, guys. The M4 is obviously a lot faster, but it doesn't always matter. It doesn't always make sense to upgrade if you are on the MacBook Air family. They just get hot and the game performance will be not that much better. So if you really want a game, the moral of the story is get a Mac Mini or get a MacBook Pro. You need the cooling. It gets hot and you need to dissipate that heat. Alright guys, thanks for watching. That was all for me. Hopefully you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.